Hey everybody, this whole thing is kind of cracking me up. I thought to myself, should I put on makeup? And no, I'm not going to. Just because I want this to be real and transparent. And this is quarantine life. I mean, this is what it looks like. So anyway, my name is Taylor Cooley. I'm 26 years old now. I was in Miss Miller's leadership class my sophomore through senior year. Graduated in 2012 from MGM, and so I was really excited to be a part of something like this when Miss Miller asked me just to make a video for you guys with some leadership type of information, but with a personal story that goes along with it that is real life. So I just wanted to share a little bit of my story with you guys. So I started baking when I was 16 years old. And so fast forward 10 years later, and I'm 7 years into owning a small business called Taylor Made Bakery here in Lucedale on Main Street. And so a little bit of just kind of, not the backstory, but in the last 6 months, I've had a really hard time with overbooking myself and really pretty much putting stress on myself that was unneeded. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a really big people pleaser. And so I say yes to everything, even when it's not really necessary. But I've always been the one to say, like, sure, I'll help, or yeah, I can do it. And that really made for a few really hard months for me, to where I turned into a person that I'm not. I was very anxious. I was very stressed and irritable and just not myself because I was so overbooked and all I wanted was rest. And so when COVID-19 came up, it was such a mix of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to get to close my shop. What does that mean? You know, like, I'm scared about what's to come because you hear all of this talk about small businesses and how this could be the end of some small businesses. And then on the other end, I'm thinking, I'm going to get this rest that I have not had, honestly, in 7 years. In the last 7 years, I can't remember a time of where I've had this much rest. And so it's been a blessing for sure, but it's been mixed in with a lot of uncertainty and fear and doubt as a small business owner. And not only am I a small business owner, but I'm a small business owner in a very small town. And so I'm surrounded by business owners here on Main Street, and all of us are kind of thinking, like, we're not sure. You know, we don't know what the future holds or when this is going to end or what it's going to look like. But our businesses are closed, but bills still have to be paid. And like for me personally, I have birthday cakes and wedding cakes and shower cakes and all of these things that have been ordered, and a lot of them paid for, and they're having to be canceled, which means I'm refunding their money because that's fair. And that just goes to show you kind of the butterfly effect that this whole thing can take on a small business. And thankfully, my husband is an essential worker and financially will be perfectly fine. But that's a whole other part on the other end of this. Is he is a nurse in the ER at USA Medical Center, and so he went into work pretty much the day quarantine started, and the fear levels were so crazy, and everyone was really scared, and he was pretty much working with patients that were being tested for COVID. So it goes both ways of just really scary, and it's something that we don't know. It's just a lot of unknown, and the fear of the unknown is a very real thing. And so the person inside of me that wants to be an encourager and wants to be a leader and kind of lead people in truth and lead people in light and love, it's been kind of hard for me because you kind of have to be completely confident in who you are and what you're about. And so the stillness and the rest that I have found in this whole thing over the past month has really taught me a lot about me. It's honestly shined a light on a lot of things that I don't like about myself and that I want to change about myself. So a lot of those, it has shown me how out of whack my priorities have been. So much of my life has been dedicated to Taylor Made, to a point of where it's to my detriment. At the end of my life, I don't want to look back and say I poured years and years of my life into making cakes. Now I know it's a lot more than that, and I know I've built relationships with people and made bonds with people, and I've been able to serve people throughout the years, and hopefully I am able to continue doing that. And that's a great thing, but my intentions behind it were just like survive. Don't sink, just swim, get through it. And I don't want to look back and think I was so stressed out for so many years of my life when I could have been, my priorities could have shifted a little bit, and my outlook and my perspective could have been totally different on the days where I was just bogged down and anxious and stressed out and frustrated. And so something that I've been thinking about, especially looking at my husband and all of his coworkers and all of the people around the world that are going into the healthcare field, even our post office workers, our people working on different plants, all of these people that are essential, grocery stores, they're all sacrificing when they go to work. And so I think about how we can love them and serve them in this time, and my mind keeps going back to the love languages. I don't know if you've heard of them before, but it's the 5 love languages. And this pertains to friendships, relationships, families, everything, but it's how people feel loved. And it's words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, physical touch, and words of affirmation. And I've really challenged myself and thought to myself, like, how can I love people specifically in this time? Because there are people now, small business owners, stay-at-home mamas, people that have been sent home from work without pay. It's forced us to think about humanity as a whole. There are people of all seasons of life and all walks of life that are really struggling right now, and this may be the hardest season for some people of their entire life. And so for me, being still and having this rest, it has allowed me and shown me that there's so much that I can be doing and so many people that I can be serving and loving. And in what ways? Is it with words? Is it with a gift? Is it with an act of service? Or is it with a hug? There's so many different things that we can do to serve people. And my mentality on that has just completely shifted, because for so long my identity has been tailor-made. And that's one thing I've learned, is that my identity is not tailor-made. It is not in my business. And for me, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a Christian. And so for me, my faith tells me that my identity is not in what I do. So it's not in all of these things I say yes to, and it's not in tailor-made, but it's in God. And so that's another thing I've been learning. And I firmly believe that without this time of quarantine and without this time of rest and stillness, the whole world has slowed down like never before. And yeah, there's a lot of bad that goes with it, but I do feel like being a leader, you have to see the good. You have to be an optimist that sees the joy in things and sees the bright side of things, because if we were all doom and gloom, it would not be, that wouldn't be good, would it? We got to smile, and we have to be the light amidst all of this darkness. And so that is a lot of what I have learned, and I feel like I'm actively learning in this process. And there's a lot of things that I've learned spiritually, a lot of things mentally, but there are so many things that it's just been such a perspective change. And it's really spurred me on to see, like, how can I serve people? How can I love people? How can I be the good when there's so much bad and so much darkness going around? So I hope that somehow my story can encourage you, and it comes directly from the heart of a small business owner that's not far from you guys at all. And you think about small business owners in this time and how you can support them. And you think about, most people don't see small business owners. They see a business, but there's a family behind that business. There's a face and a smile and a person behind each of those businesses. So reach out and love somebody. Love a small business owner. See how you can serve your neighbors today. Kindness goes a really long way. And so if anything, let kindness be the light that just kind of pushes you forward and encourages you. But thank you again, Miss Miller, for letting me do this. And oh gosh, I wish that I could meet you guys over, face to face and not virtually. But thank you guys for having me and for watching.